back at it. Victor's coming in tomorrow to check out the fenders, and there was one other thing I wanted to set up before he arrives, and that's the front part of this. I stepped back and critiqued myself, as everyone should, on the daily or even hourly, and looked at this, and I like it, but always, you should always be your own worst critic. There's something about it. Keeps you humble, keeps you progressing.
Your own worst critic.
I had 2 words of, we had lunch the other day with Jamie's mom, and I said, my mantra from the start, stay miserable. If you stay miserable, then any bit of happiness you'll get will just be like an incredible blessing. So also be your own worst critic.
Great words to live by.
That's right. Don't ever feel satisfied. Stay hungry. Look at the way this line is pulling into the back of the car. So that's what the Zephyr did, and it just seems more extreme now that I've followed the Zephyr line even further down. I'm interested to hear what Victor has to say about that. I feel like this is a little flat through here, and I feel like this point is a little bit too sharp. All easily remediable. I think if, instead of using that solid round through the center, if I had used a piece of tube to create a little bit more of that style peak, I think it would just look a little bit better. But again, that's me being my own worst critic. One thing I want to accomplish is getting this fender longer, more towards the door. I know we're going to have to split it. And I don't even care if we change the shape of the door. I don't care if we change out the door entirely. I'm just talking about, I don't want to hear any lip from you, or even you. No lip about where this tire is placed. We're going to manage. We're going to figure that out. We're talking about the style. The arch of the fender. Leave that tire alone. I don't even see it. We have skirts. We can move the axle. We can do anything. Remember, this is a fabrication shop.
That is true.
Is it a heck of a lot of work? Yeah. But we never designed the car to look like this, so you got to change some things. Would it have been so much easier if we had forethought all this? Yeah, but then there's no adventure. Just go out and buy somebody else's work. Look at that.
Is that a toy car? Oh, I thought
No.
it was a little like toy car underneath this.
This is the piece of the windshield wiper mount that I cut off. We got so much flack for. I want to move this fender half forward up to about where it was here. So what I'm thinking about is, where do I cut this? Because it's an arch. So if I was to cut it here, then this piece would look like it wants to go downhill, right? So you'd have to shorten that whole thing. What I'm trying to find is where in this curve does it become horizontal. Can you dig it? See what I'm doing here? So I'm thinking it's low here, and it's almost touching here. So look at that. It's not darn near parallel. Wouldn't you say?
As darn near as it's gonna get.
It's darn near. Coincides with that. Interesting. I don't make the rules. I just live by them. Let's cut it. All right. So this is going to want to blend in right to that edge. Kind of like that. So I think it would behoove us to get some flat stock, clamp it in here, and figure out how much we're going to stretch so we get some alignment. Need a piece of flat stock, at least that big, and a couple clamps. So I don't have any flat stock, but I got some angle. That should do it. That might just be a little bit much, but I'm gonna clamp that in, see what we come up with. Yeah. So that's what the Fender wants. So what I've got is this is flat, just buried inside there along the edge of that. And I think that's probably way too long. It's not gonna let it happen. Oh no, it will. Yeah, cool. As long as we clamp there. All right, so it looks like we want this about right there. So yeah, that line goes straight through. Looks like this has to drop a bit though. Pull back or pull forward. Pull the car back towards me. Yeah, so this is a concern I had just by looking at it. Yeah, this looks okay to me. This will have to work on, but it looks like the bottom's got to be chopped off just a little bit. Because when I'm looking, see, these two are diving. So this has got to drop. But that will work just like that. And yeah, this is in the way of the door. But as I mentioned, I don't care if we have to cut the door that shape. That's no biggie. Look what we did anyway. We changed all that. So we're talking about the fender. We're talking about our finer fenders. So yeah, let me snip this off with the grinding disc. Lower it down. All right, so that drew it down. There it is right there. Cool. It looks like this wants to come just about a finger forward. Because as it came down, it swung back. Yeah, I can live with that. All right, I'm going to spot weld that right to there. I'm going to come out a bit. I'm going to want to parallel that with that older running board shape. And then that is going to come up like that. So I think I should attach these first right here. Because that is the paramount concern. And then we could twist that. So what will we do here? So we can put another flat stock right here. Or angle. Oh look, more angle. It's coming out of the woodwork. That's bent. Look how bent that is.
I was going to say, I thought it looked curved.
Oh, it's curved both ways. This thing got hit like that. No bueno. Not gonna work. Good eye. Just jockeying this into position. Put a little clamp on here. Just trying to get a fit up as best I can for really cutting or welding. That's gonna want to sit just like that. Yeah. That's gonna want to sit like that. Like that. Yeah, exactly like that. Tempted to just weld this in and leave it. I can cut it away after.
What's making you decide whether or not to?
Well, a lot of it has to do with like leaving armature underneath the sculpture type of scenario. So that's what this would be, but this is going to make it very straightforward if I do leave it in place. I can put the sheet metal over. That's a very strong doubler inside. But I'll have to go in from the back side like so much else and cut that back out. Not a big task, but I mean, I would leave this in. I would just, the piece hanging out to here on the inside. So I'll just go in and nip that off. It's not even a crime to leave it, I don't think. Let's do that. I'm gonna tack this right in. Shut this door. All right, we got that. I'm gonna pin the bottom. I'm gonna set a flat piece of steel here and then lap that to it. A lot of corrosion in there. I think somewhere right around there. Yeah, exactly right there. Sweet. I'm gonna use a smaller clamp because the large foot clamp really has a way to, like, see how it's twisting this? So I'm trying to eliminate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna clean this and we'll put a strip in there. Tread ton. All right, got a piece of sheet metal. It's actually got a little bit of curve in it too. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Grooving. That's why we save our scraps. Yeah. Get it in the ballpark. Reasonably close. Looks reasonably close. Yeah, yeah. Reasonably close. All right. Yeah, it's almost a perfect match. So let's just say it's about from there to about there. I'm gonna cut this with the disc. That way I don't affect that curve. So this is something I do regularly. I've seen a lot of people cut the piece to fit the opening, and it's just an endless task of nipping, tucking, trying to get it fit perfect, right? Why not cut the fender to fit the piece? Let me explain. So you got that, right? A lot of gap. So I'm just gonna overlap it so it's right where I need it. And I'm gonna trim it out right here for the weld. Yeah, so you can see right there. See, it just falls down a little bit. So I don't want to come in that much. Just because I want to leave that. I could grind it, do a number of things, but I'm worried about it. All right, look at that. Bada bing. So now I am going to hard weld this, and I'm going to work right up the lane with the grinder and the welder. Because that big heavy piece is under, I put a good solid weld right there. I'm going to do the same on this side while I can still peek in. I can see the weld back there. I'm going to go there and there. And I'm only going to tack it down here because see, I'm going to want that to fall into place. I'm going to grab it low right there. Bit of a placeholder. Cool. Now I'm going to take the cutting disc and I'm going to put it up against, I'm not going to cut, so I'm just going to put the cutting disc up against this. Put a slice right through. Now I'm going to cut. So this will be a butt weld, see? You can see that little space between. Now to get these in line, I put the razor blade right in that little thing and see how you can position it. I don't know if it's going to work. We got wind. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we're starting to do something. So now I'm going to hit this side, same fashion. So yeah, I don't want to heat this up because it's going to warp it. All right, now we're going to run into some issue with this door. I'm leaving this flopping free because wherever the door shuts, we're going to have to cut now and then line it all up.
I asked Ian why he likes this a lot. I'm just curious.
It was easier than I thought it was going to be. I was really stressed about it.
Oh, really? Oh.
But now the door ain't going to shut. But we knew that. I have to cut it right about here. And through here. I take the structure right out of this. On the inside. And close it on there and cut again. Wow, the butchery. All right, so that fender comes out significantly past the door.
Sorry about the pole.
Huh?
I'm trying to like get a good angle, but the pole is
I
in
know.
my way.
That's why I'm getting so frustrated. I can't even. All right, so at least now we can swing this. Again, this is all a setup for the conversation with Mr. Victor.
The
I want
one
to
and
cut this
only.
fender skirt and set it into place. I'm going to put a quick tack on that just to trap it. In modeling terms, it's called a base plate. You need to have a base plate below what you're creating. Did I mention you can never have enough clamps as a welder?
Wow, look at you picking up all your toys. I mean, your tools.
That fits there. And that fits there. But something don't mix. Something don't match up in between.
You know what's funny is I'm so new at this whole car building thing that I didn't even think about the fender skirt, how you're gonna have to stretch that.
Aha! Well, as the old saying goes, change one thing, you change another. I mean, everything.
It's a good old saying.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this pretty much in the same area. What you'll tend to get by doing a straight shot through these panels is you'll start to get this sausage effect. That's what I call it anyway. So you got your bulge, and then you'll have a weld. It'll appear to fall in the panel, and then another one, right? So we have that a little bit here. I think I want to cut this one like this.
The sausage effect? Like a little like Italian like sausage that you cut and then it's like squeezed in the middle.
Links, right? Come on, we're having a stressful day here. Let me just be stressed, okay? All right, so we got to cut this thing in half. And it looks good right to about there. I'm going to cut it diagonally because this has got a convex shape, right? So I was just kind of thinking, if I cut straight down, it's such a big panel, it's going to give it that weird effect that I was just describing. So what if I stayed in this sort of high ridge area, right? What if I went like that?
Ah.
So I wouldn't even have to cut this. I would just split it and put a piece in and create this. I don't know why I want to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. It's that simple. Let's see if it works. I'm going to cut it and then wire wheel it. So I cut this in half and cleaned it. I'm going to put these two pieces in place. And I'm not going to really finish this. I'm not barely going to do much at all except represent this, because if you know the guy, he's going to want to change something. So this is a representation to take one's eye off of the placement of the tire. Because if there's one thing I know,
You're so funny. You're like peeking from behind the pole.
this is our pole. There are many like it, but this one is ours. It's always in the way of every shot. So I'm going to put a spot weld right up there. Some good steel. Like the way it welds. Yeah, these aren't a perfect fit up to the Zephyr Fenders, but they're close. Definitely need a little adjusting. Yeah, look at that. That's way up. But I'm not going to mess with that just now. So what I am going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of steel to put around the outside of this just as a binder, just to hold it and screw a couple screws in place. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to come in really radically, either bang this fender out or shrink the skirt in. That's a pretty hard mismatch. we're gonna need a we're gonna need a piece of sheet about 24 inches by just make it 7. 24 by 7.
Oh, you got your table back.
Got that dune buggy running, in case you haven't
Yeah,
seen.
yeah.
So sorry if I don't seem as enthused as I usually do, but I got things on my mind. I got dune buggy, I got tires. So what we're gonna need here at the bottom is to recreate the angle of the dangle. Can you dig it?
I didn't know you could like move like that, Ian.
Yeah, you know, some of my time in the traveling sideshow, I was the contortionist. The bald-headed lady contortionist is one of the acts that I played. But that's a good start. A little ring-a-ding. Welcome to Camp Dyslex. Oh no, I did it backwards. Sometimes you just luck out. Yep. A little of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a straight shot on this because that was just a loose thing. I'm gonna follow that up so it looks a little better.
I could see where you thought you did it backwards.
Sometimes you run on pure instinct in this game.
Wow. So what made you think of the bald-headed lady in the circus show?
Well, if I was going to play the bearded lady, I probably couldn't pull that off.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that looks a little cleaner. All right, so I'm going to set that. You're gonna need a handle. Bring out the mega magnet. Everybody, brace yourself.
Oh my God, don't get it near my phone.
Hey. It's actually not that strong, but it's pretty strong. So, scooch this over. Draw a little line right through here, like so. Yeah, why not? Yeah. All right, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. And I put a couple screws in this. Take a look at it. This will have to be really refined to make this work, but this is for the topic of discussion. All right, I'm gonna run the disc right through there to make it look a little cleaner. I'm gonna leave that there, just like I left the clamp there last time. But you could see, look at the mass of that fender and
Wow.
skirt. You don't even realize the tire's in the wrong place. So it's pretty interesting. I had this young guy write me a message on Insta, Messenger, or Facebook, one of those. He's like, hey, I'm 28, and I've been really into this for years. And just yesterday, I signed on a rent agreement or a lease on my first shop. And I don't really know what else he said, but something to that effect, like, I'm going for it, man. I love this. Have any advice? I was like, I was 27, 28 when I did my thing solo. And yeah, man, I told him the only thing I can offer you is stay the course. You're going to see a different side of people, a different side of anybody once you ask them or demand them to pay for your service. There's going to be the good and there's going to be the bad, but stay on the roller coaster ride. Like, is it worth it in the end? For me, it has been, but I've lived the nightmare and the dream. So that's why Victor's here still after all these years, because he'll be able to look at a mock-up like this, make decisions, and we'll work forward. So that's what it's all about. If you're watching this, you're going to deal with this exact scenario. Client's going to come in tomorrow. He's going to be like, ABC, I like this, I don't like that. And you're going to have to take it. You're going to be like, well, it's his car. He doesn't like it. I'm going to have to change it if I want to get paid. So, yeah, it's something to think about. You have a good arrangement here. So roll the dice, see what comes up.